Dear friends, this is Norman Alderman coming to you by way of etater.com. In past times, there were occasions in which we had to depend upon the local newspaper, a good one, but we had to have our news filtered. And so we began a challenge to ourselves and to the community to provide everybody an opportunity to speak their own mind. And so etater was born. Etater has been a marvelous tool for communications. But now, our local sheriff, who has been offended by some of the comments made on etater, wants to shut us down. He wants to close the doors. He personally came to my house with about 4 or 5 troopers, an office secretary, someone else that I don't even know, the process server, and an unsworn auxiliary officer. And he took my computers. And he took almost 500 CDs and DVDs that I'd made. These were the product of over 4 years' work collecting the history of Pocahontas County. I've been going from museum to museum, from school library to school library. I've been collecting pictures of yearbooks, pictures of newspapers, in an attempt to record for posterity the history of Pocahontas County. But you see, now Mr. Janice has chosen to stop that. He took all that history away from me, and he won't allow me to have access to it. The second thing is, I supported Donna Meadows Price because I knew what we had before. But I didn't realize we were getting what probably can well be stated the laziest prosecuting attorney we've ever had. And I have to say something else I've learned. She's got 2 of the meanest secretaries that I've ever faced. One slammed the door in my face. They don't want to hear the truth. Now, given that on Monday at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be facing what I consider to be the toughest trial of my life. It's not a trial, it's a hearing. It's a hearing in which I get the opportunity to ask the individuals that I will mention in just a moment what was the basis of their charge. I am sad to say that Donna Meadows Price should have had the common sense that it took to not allow these charges to go forward. But she told me that she found probable cause. And so you're going to have an opportunity as the days go on to see what the evidence really is. I want this hearing to be an opportunity to deal straightforward and from the witness stand and under oath of office, oath of perjury, to show the people of this county just how corrupt it really is. In that way, I look forward to this. It's going to be hard on me. It's hard on me emotionally. It was hard on my wife. They came to my house at 11:30 at night. Brought all their people, except for a couple that they sent to the upper end of the county 50 miles away to make off with what appeared to be what they thought was the server for etater.com. And of course my friend frankly told them to get their you-know-what out, and they left. You can't exercise a warrant for a place on Beaver Creek and another warrant for 50 miles away on the same warrant. But they were attempting to do it. But they didn't realize what a character that man was who would tell them where to get off. I don't like reading to anyone. I don't any more than I like to be on camera. If you'll notice that I'm usually behind the camera rather than in front of it. But I want to share with you today my statements that I intend to make at the hearing on Monday. at 10 o'clock. And it goes as follows. I thank you for the opportunity to present my side of this story today through our motion hearings. I have submitted several motions which will lay groundwork for the defense of free speech, freedom of the press, and provides the court an opportunity to rule on the proper application of the Fourth Amendment regarding warrants, search, and seizure. We have spent much time researching these motions to develop a sound legal basis for them. I am asking that the court consider these motions in depth and respond accordingly for the record. We have also submitted an omnibus motion, which are standard and routine in a legal case. Unfortunately, some of these motions would have been unnecessary had discovery requests been submitted in a timely manner. Prosecutor Meadows Price has been difficult to correspond with. She seldom returns your calls. In fact, I tried the other day to get an appointment with her, and she just said, well, I'll see you at the hearing. So it's very difficult to get a hold of Donna. We currently have a request for a meeting right now, which is now several days old. That meeting is for the purpose of finding out what she's done about appointing a special prosecutor. You see, when they arrested me, I filed a complaint of civil rights violations against Kathy Beveridge and a complaint against David Janice. These are civil rights violations. You see, I don't divide the civil rights violations up into little tiny things. You don't have to rape me. You don't have to molest me for me to realize my rights have been violated. I want to see Kathy Beveridge and David Janice in jail. I am asking that the meeting that we have on Monday be recorded so that we'll have a record of what's going on. Now, first of all, regarding missing discovery. Ms. Meadows Price did present copies of the material allegedly submitted by David Fleming to support his complaint. However, despite the fact that he uses the term email, there are no email documents related to any email correspondence between the defendant and David Fleming. The bulk of the material consists of copies from my web forum, etater.com. There is not one single email from Norman Alderman to David Fleming. Secondly, David Fleming maintains in his complaint that he asked Norman Alderman to cease and desist. Again, there is no documentary evidence of these multiple occasions. Either they do not exist or prosecution has failed to deliver them as requested. If they do, then it is time to produce them. Secondly, defendant is concerned about that a comprehensive itemization of the materials seized from his home has not been provided. There are indeed references in one case to 71 discs, to another over 400 discs that were taken, but no itemization. When someone comes to your home and takes stuff from your home, you have a right to know what they took. Not David Janice and his goons, not for a heartbeat. Oh, they had a 2.5-page inventory, but you know what? They were too lazy to count the CDs. They were too lazy to even label the CDs. And so I've asked the court to provide an item-by-item inventory, that it be conducted by David Janice and provided to me. Thirdly, I am a professional data miner. I am acquainted with techniques and programs which can easily and effectively search through hard drives and create a thorough directory listing of the data storage device. We have asked for this, but none has been forthcoming to defendant. This is important to determine not just one, but two things. Number one, if they've taken anything off my drive,